I am back. Sorry for the delay. Got quite the story. A lot of catching up to do. Tons of pack reviews, as you can see here. This is just the first of, I don't know, 6 or 7 I'm behind on. So here's the deal. You notice I've been MIA for the past few weeks. It'll be 3 weeks come Thursday. I came down with COVID. Couldn't taste or smell. So, you know, those are vital senses for the job we're doing here. So, they're back. They're kind of intermittent, but they're back. I can definitely taste these. So, raw ratings, I think I can taste it. I can taste. We're digging in. So, the good people at Lolly's, specifically Joey, the owner, and Diego at Ice Cream Fiesta also works for them. Check that out. But they reached out. We're like, hey, we're working on a pack here in January. It is going to be incredibly good. We want to send it to you first, let you get a review out, and when you post your review, that's when we'll drop the pack for sale. Well, they sent it on a Friday. The Friday it arrived, I came down, I was eating lunch, couldn't taste or smell. It's like, oh boy. So nonetheless, here we are. They released the pack anyways. It sold out. I don't think they've shipped them yet because I haven't seen any reviews. I feel like I'd seen some reviews or posts about it if they ship. So I'm going to give you the first review of it still, even though you're either going to find out if you invested wisely or if you're on the fence and you didn't order, you might find out that you are going to miss out. So, but don't worry. You can judge these flavors. Basically, they'll be back again. Lolly's does this. They did it, in the fall of last year. So I'd be surprised if they didn't do it at least one more time in 2021. Probably 2 or 3 more times. Anyways, we got a 5-pack here. They also sent some extras. I'll get to those down the road. This is what the pack is that people bought. So we're gonna get into these, and we'll tackle them individually. But the names, we got chocolate peanut butter, maple blueberry pancake, fish feast, carrot cake, and lastly, key lime. So, this is going to be pretty raw, kind of like I did back, if you remember the Oddfellows video. I'm digging in, gonna let you know the truth. Maple blueberry pancake and fish feast are fish feast. It's kind of tough to say. They're soft right out of the freezer. I'm assuming it's all the blueberry swirl and there's probably maple syrup in the ice cream. Oh, let me give you the description. Maple blueberry pancake is maple ice cream, blueberry swirl, and pancake streusel. So I'm sure between the blueberry swirl and the maple syrup, that's what's causing this ice cream not to, to freeze. I can squeeze the heck out of this thing. You can see here, mix-ins are on point, tons. Everything's, equally present. The maple in the ice cream, it doesn't scream maple. However, I think that's probably a good thing. When you sit down and you eat pancakes with maple syrup, I probably shouldn't say this. I personally don't like to taste just maple. I want some pancake too. Some of you might like all that sugary sweet doused in syrup, just the messy goodness, so to speak. So this base, let's see here. I'm trying to get these mix-ins, but it's definitely, you can definitely taste the maple. No doubt about it. It is identified as maple. However, it's not overly sweet. And I think that bodes really well here because it's like you almost get a pancake batter flavor. It's like you're almost eating pancakes accompanied with a maple syrup. Digging down, no shortage of mix-ins. We're gonna talk about that blueberry swirl next. And you can actually see little blobs, little blueberries, mini blueberries. And they hold up extremely well. Zero iciness. And I feel like that's tough to do with a blueberry swirl that actually has blueberries. Most of it is icy. Soft, chewy. Yeah, they're a little soggy, but I'd rather have that than icy. For flavor, yes, they're sweet. I wouldn't call it's definitely not the most naturalist. It's definitely not the most natural blueberry flavor I've ever eaten in an ice cream. However, what makes it so good in this case is it finishes a little tart. So I feel like even if that maple base was a little too sweet or sweeter, even though it's not. It doesn't seem as sweet because you have a little bit of tart finish on the end of that blueberry swirl. Never have I scooped a pancake mix-in ice cream that didn't fail. The pancake chunks just get icy, hard, crumbly. Pancake streusel, phenomenal idea, lollies. So it holds up texturally. It's perfect. Texturally, perfect. It's like the crumble you have on a pie topping. It's crispy, even a little gritty if you want to call it that, but it's just a perfect crumb, even a little crunch to it as you bite through it. Now flavor, I could go for more flavor, like a graham, almost like a pie crust type flavor topping. However, all I'm really getting here is butter. It's not a bad thing. It's buttery, maybe a little floury. It definitely could act, and it is acting as the pancake component of this ice cream. I just personally think it's drowned out between the maple and the blueberry. We're off to a very good start here. Everything, I mean, I have minimal complaints. You heard them in the review. As far as calling it a maple blueberry pancake, I think that's spot on. Feels just like we're off to a very good start here. I think they nailed it for calling it a maple blueberry pancake. All of the flavor components are present and pretty well balanced. Maybe more pancake streusel would be my biggest, although minimal, complaint. 8.5 out of 10. Had to go put that guy in the freezer. It's getting melty on me, so is Fish Feast. Woo boy. If you like sweet, this is gonna be you. Let me do a quick bite. Fish Feast is a Nutella, spilling it everywhere. Don't judge me. Nutella ice cream, marshmallow swirl, and Oreo ganache truffles. Here's the deal though. Phenomenally sweet, almost too sweet. I have a huge sweet tooth. It's a little much for me. Now, with that said, this is probably gonna blow your mind. The Nutella, it's mild in flavor, but it's still really sweet, if that makes sense. So basically, yes, obviously Nutella, not the strongest Nutella flavor. And I think that's a very smart move here because that can be very overpowering. We still got the marshmallow and the, what was it, Oreo ganache truffle. So while it's light in Nutella flavor, I shouldn't say light, mild, present, there's enough of it. While it's mild in flavor, it's still a very sweet ice cream. So, trying to dig up some of that marshmallow fluff for you. There's plenty of it. That's exactly what it is. Marshmallow fluff. You know, like you make your fluffer nutter fluffer, whatever it's called, sandwich, peanut butter and fluff. Super sweet. The sweetest component of this ice cream. You all know what marshmallow tastes like. Extremely sugary, sweet. Texture is just like fluff as well. Very gooey, sticky. Too much light going on here. Very sticky and gooey, whatever you want to call it. It's perfect for fluff. Oreo ganache. What happened to my camera? Oreo ganache truffle. Here's where I don't want to say a pint takes a downturn, but I think it's a little off. Personally, it's still good, but it's a little off. Hear me out. Texturally, it's great. It's soft, it's gooey, it tempers beautifully. Your spoon can cut right through it, almost like a slightly undercooked brownie. Now, flavor. This is where, let me back up to the texture real quick. Not only that though, the soft, gooey, chewy, underbaked brownie, but there's Oreo cookies in it. So like you're biting this soft chewiness and then you get like this, not hard, but you get this chunk that you bite into. It's like a soft Oreo cookie, like you've dunked it in milk a few times. So while some of them are really chewy, you get the occasional chunk that's has a little bit of tougher chew to it because you get an actual Oreo cookie in it. Now let's go into the flavor. Sorry for rambling. Flavor, it doesn't have that salty, that bitter bite that I love with ganache. That's what I look for in ganache. That's what I want. That's what gets me excited. This is more of, I guess it's the fact that they call it a truffle. I don't want to call it a brownie. It's like you had a mix between a brownie and a ganache. It's somewhere in the middle. It's not super rich, you know, sweet, fudgy. But then again, like I said, it lacks that salty bitterness, almost like darker chocolate flavor. All right, here's the deal. Got fluff all over me. I don't know where to go with this one. This one's tough. So the Nutella, it's right where it needs to be. It's present enough to where it has great flavor and it's noticeable, but it's not overbearing. The marshmallow swirl, I mean, it's fluff. Texturally it's perfect. It's sugary sweet flavor, like they nailed it. It obviously dials up the sweetness even more. Now here's where they went wrong, personally. The Oreo ganache truffles. I keep forgetting, that doesn't sound right. I keep having to look. Oreo ganache truffles. I think had they been a saltier, bitter chocolate bite to them, it would have contrasted all that sweetness. So since it's not tremendously sweet, it's somewhere between, you know, like I said, a brownie and a ganache, it still builds on the sweetness of that pint even more. Now, don't get me wrong, the chocolates are two different flavored chocolates between the ganache and the Nutella. It's just, I think that saltier, bitter bite, darker chocolate would have done this a tremendous amount of good. 7.5 out of 10. A little bit of a palate cleanser. All right, we got 3 more. Let's see which one's softest. I know that chocolate peanut butter is dense. It's gonna be last. I think it's carrot cake. All right, so we've got, what do we got? Carrot cake batter ice cream. Cream cheese frosting swirl and carrot cake pieces. Here we go. Don't worry, there's more swirl. That cream cheese swirl, we're gonna get to that. There's more on top, but I ate it all. Just hold your horses. So the base is carrot cake batter. There's been one other company to do that. That's used salt and straw back in the day. It's probably been a good 4 years now. Anyway, here's how it works. You don't get a ton of spice, you know, your typical carrot cake spices in the base because it's sweeter. I get a carrot cake vibe, but since it's a batter, it's sweeter. And honestly, what really stands out is just a darker brown sugar-like flavor. But then comes the carrot cake pieces. And there's no other way to say it. They are perfect. Not near as sweet as the base, which is great. And what really shines is all those spices that were lacking in the base. So if they intentionally did it, beautiful. You know, I probably can't hold that against them. You got your cloves, your cinnamon, your nutmeg, it's all there. Carrot cake, it is there. Texturally, it's soft and gooey. It's like I'm eating a fresh piece of cake. And there's even shreds of carrots in it. Beautifully done, lollies. All right, guys, looks like I'm gonna have to eat my words here. I lied. There's not too much more cream cheese frosting swirl, but there is a little bit. You can see here. And it was really top heavy. There's a little bit of it right there above my spoon. So yeah, it's gonna cost them a few points, but texturally, it was great. It wasn't as thick as an icing. It was more of like I'm gonna say it leaned more towards a swirl of like a marshmallow fluff that we just talked about in Fish Feast. It leaned more towards that. However, still a swirl. Not, like I just said, not a ton of it. It was top heavy, and then this is near the bottom. So more throughout would have been huge because obviously you need the cream cheese frosting component to make carrot cake. Flavor-wise, I liked it. It was a bit different. For being a frosting, it wasn't sweet. You know, normally when you eat cake, the cream cheese frosting swirl is pretty darn sweet. This was more tangy. It was more natural. It was almost like a true cream cheese with just a tiny bit of sugar or sweetness added to it. I have to judge this, you know, based on what I have in my pint, and it just didn't have, you know, it didn't have enough cream cheese frosting swirl in it to, you know, put it top tier. while the flavor was good when it was present and it was very top heavy, you know, it had a nice different tangy punch and it went really well with all the other carrot cake components of this ice cream. It's the component, at least for my pint, that is certainly holding this one back. 7 out of 10. So here's one that's gonna test me. I'm gonna give my respects, you'll see. Key lime, easily one of my least favorite desserts. I know. I don't wanna hear it, I've never liked it. Here we do have a cream cheese ice cream, a key lime custard swirl, and graham crunch. Shoot. Dropping graham crunch already. Let's go ahead and just get this out there. Let's, you know, no point in hiding it. This pint is near perfect. Very impressive. So, you can see the yellow part's the custard swirl, but right now we're gonna talk about the cream cheese base. And let's talk about the texture of all these pints so far. Dense, creamy, certainly a premium ice cream. There's no issues with the texture at all. This cream cheese flavor is very similar to the swirl we just talked about in carrot cake. Pointing that way because I already put it in the freezer. It's natural, it's tangy, it's cheesy. You know, like I feel like I'm eating like melted cream cheese, like soft cream cheese. Minimal sweetness. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, I obviously don't mind cream cheese, and I obviously don't mind graham, as much of that as I reviewed in my day. What I don't like, or I don't prefer, I shouldn't say I don't like, is the key lime custard swirl. And you can see it's the yellow components here. Now, it's mind-blowing. It's exactly like key lime pie, like the same texture. I'm gonna say it's more of, I mean, I guess you could say it's like a custard filling. It's kind of like a pudding. I mean, I guess that runs hand in hand, pudding, custard filling. It's great. It still acts as a swirl, but it's not near as like, I'm not gonna say runny or, you know, as gooey or sticky as a marshmallow fluff. This is like a pudding or custard, just a thick, nice change in texture from the ice cream. Flavor, yeah, it's not my favorite, but they nailed it. Key lime, it's tart, it's limey. I mean, there's no other way to say it. And it goes really well with the cream cheese. I guess I should have said with tart and limey, I think I said. It's also tangy and a little sour. So, you know, all of that, you've all had key lime pie. Tangy, tart, sour, maybe a little bitter, lime flavor. The custard swirl it's really good. And the graham crunch is, I mean, I keep saying it, it's perfect as well. It's crispy, it's, you know, slightly crunchy, it's gritty. When you bite into it, it just crumbles apart in your mouth. It acts just like a pie crust, you know, when you're eating key lime pie, like to a T. Flavor-wise, yeah, it doesn't scream graham because of the cream cheese and the key lime custard. Obviously, those are the stronger flavors in this ice cream. But you do get that butteriness, just kind of similar to the pancake, but whereas that leaned more towards flour, a buttery flour flavor, this leans more towards buttery graham. And it brings everything together. You know, I'll be the first to admit, when you get me liking something that typically doesn't jive with my palate, you're doing something right. This, my friends, I mean, I can't give it a perfect rating just because I've had flavors that are better. But if you're a key lime pie fan, you need this in your life. 9.5 out of 10. All right, guys, I'm hitting that sugar wall, but we got one more left, right? And it's supposed to be a good one. Chocolate peanut butter, right? What's a better name and better combination of the game? Maybe mint chocolate, but chocolate peanut butter is right up there. And we have a dark chocolate ice cream, a peanut butter swirl, and Reese's peanut butter cups. Just when I got the words out of my mouth that we had zero problems with texture of the ice cream, we got a pretty decent flaw here. you're not gonna be able to see it. It is a tad icy. Now, don't get me wrong, I've had way worse, icier, is that right? Icy, way worse, icier pints. But this is still not like the other 4 that we just scooped. Something's a little off here. I don't know if it was in shipment or if it's the, some sort of the production. As it tempers, it's probably not even noticeable. The average ice creamer wouldn't notice, I guess I say. I've had my fair share of my time. Texture's off here, bottom line. The dark chocolate flavor of the ice cream though, it's very good. What do I like most about it? It's not as sweet. I'm trending more and more to these sweeter, more bitter, tangier, not so sweet bases. And this does a very good job of that. It's a high quality chocolate. It's, your typical dark cocoa properties. Slightly bitter. It's not as sweet. It's nowhere near a milk chocolate in flavor. Get ready for this. The peanut butter swirl. First off, it's in chunks. So it was hardened, but I can scrape it, right off. It tempers. That's what I need to say. It tempers, softens beautifully, and it's like melts in your mouth. There's a ton of it. And believe it or not, very, very salty. So I like where this is heading because we have the, not so sweet dark chocolate flavor. Now we have the salty peanut butter. Hopefully these Reese's peanut butter cups bring the sweetness that we need to round this out. But as for that peanut butter swirl, natural peanut butter flavor that is salty. And I should have never questioned it, right? We've all had a Reese's peanut butter cup. It's one of the greatest candies, chocolates, whatever, of all time. You can see a big chunk right here. So you got that beautiful milk chocolate shell, adds a much sweeter chocolate component to the ice cream with a peanut butter filling that's maybe slightly more artificial. It's definitely sweeter, maybe a little artificial, but it's beautiful, right? Who doesn't love a good Reese's peanut butter cup? And these are actually, it's gonna slide off my spoon here, but I can't show you. I'll just show you in the pint. Big chunks, they're actual Reese's cups. Oh, I'm struggling here, guys. This is the last pint. But these are actual, large Reese's cups that have been broken up. We're not dealing with no mini Reese's peanut butter cups. This is the real freaking deal. And obviously they're a little tougher, like they're harder, but they're not hard, but they're harder than an actual Reese's cups, but they chew. They have a great firm chew, and when eaten, they just melt in your mouth. So as I'm digging deeper, unfortunately, it's getting a little more icy. I don't know if you can tell by the texture there, but it's definitely not near as, if you can hear that, it's definitely not near as soft as it was at the top. And it's been tempering a while. So something went wrong here. I don't know what it is. It's it's good, man, but it's a fairly big miss with the iciness of the base. It's tough to overcome that for me. Great flavor though. There's a more bitter, not near sweet chocolate ice cream, dark chocolate ice cream. And you have a salty component from the peanut butter swirl, and then the Reese's peanut butter cups. Just, balance everything out with that sweetness. However, the iciness is a pretty big deal, and it's gonna cost them on this one. 6.5 out of 10. So let's round this out and bring everything together. Heart's over here, just like, it's a lot of sugar, but I need the calories. Lost 14 pounds during COVID, like shriveling up over here. Whew. Anyway, so yeah, the chocolate peanut butter, it's a bad way to end the review, I know. I think it's a rare miss from me. I think hopefully something went wrong just in my pint. Regardless, everything else was what, 7 or higher, 7.5 or higher? It doesn't matter. 7 or higher. If you have 4 out of 5 pints, 7 or higher, you're doing 7 or higher, you're doing something right. That's considered consistent. I know the pack is already sold out, so you're just getting some ratings here. I'm not really giving much input. I'm sorry for that. I'll be here for you next time. So I think if you bought the pack, you're going to be very, very happy. I know I was. if you're on the fence and didn't order for whatever reason, I think you'll miss out, but they'll be back. So no worries. They'll do another pack definitely this year. So when that happens, make sure to jump on board. I'm gonna say they're not tier 1 ice cream yet, but they're close. They are not far behind. They're making some unique, crazy good looking stuff. Definitely tier 2. So stay tuned. Follow them. They even got some big. They got a podcast coming this year. That'll be fun. So stay tuned. Give them a follow. And, we'll see what other views bring in the next, I hope next week or two. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys.